Lucha Underground to a lot of people was a fun show, but for the people who worked there, the experience was completely different. I've heard many stories from people, good stories, bad stories. What was your experience?
I had a good time. I thought it was a good experience. I think it could have worked if, but it's just one of those things where I think the wrestling world meeting the entertainment world and big corporations, where big
Hmm.
corporations will have the final say or oversight or just cut the legs from the wrestling aspect of it. Like I think it's like it, I mean, I can't speak for other companies, but like for Lucha Underground specifically, like I think it was like an oil and water mixture, where like the entertainment and business side didn't understand the wrestling aspect, and they kind of just because like I mean, it was a really good buzz for a while.
Yeah.
Like I heard when it started coming out, people were like, "What the heck is this?" And then by the second season, it started gaining more steam, and then Rey Mysterio came aboard, and then it just exploded. And then the fourth season kind of I feel like maybe got dropped off, tapered off a little bit, and then I didn't feel like the fourth season had the same magic as the previous three. And I don't know if it was because it was like we had such a long break because we didn't know if we are coming back or not. And man, but I mean, I was happy it came back because we got to see other people that we worked with for like 3 seasons, and it was fun, man. Like I truly enjoyed my time there. I just wish like that business side of it didn't like try to bigwig their way into the rest. Like I wish they would have just said, "Hey, listen, here's the money, do your thing," and then the ratings were good, the reception was
Yeah.
good. So like I think it should have been like, okay, well, here's your money, do your thing. We'll step out of the situation. You guys run it, and then just grow it from there. And they did that for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they started. I think they started coming more in, and it was just like an uphill battle to begin with, I believe. But I mean, I could be wrong. I wasn't in the production meetings or anything like that, but that was just from my observations of being there.
Because I love the show. What an amazing concept that was. But I never really heard about the money finance people being the problem. I heard it was more like you sign a contract, you didn't know what your contract really was going to do to you, so you were locked into seasons, so you couldn't go anywhere else that had a television deal. So a lot of wrestlers couldn't wrestle for TNA because they had
Mhm.
a television deal, and some people were paid differently than others. I've heard different stories from different people, but I didn't know what your situation was because I've heard amazing stories of like, here's all this money, here's this food, here's this. And once the season was over, it was like, boom, you were kind of locked in this contract, but you couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, no, I mean that's another aspect of it too. Like I mean, like for like again, I can't speak for everybody's contracts,
Yeah.
but for my contract, it said no TV. And I was like, all right, cool, that's fine because you guys were paying me. But then I didn't expect like I think my memory is not that great with that, but like between season one taping or when season one ended to season two, I want to say it was like maybe there was a long break in between, or no, it was a short break actually, maybe like 6 months before we started
It's
filming.
still a long time though.
But then we didn't get paid for the 6 months because
Right. So you're locked in, but you can't go on
right,
TV anywhere.
right. But then like between like season two, season three, I think that was the one where it was like a year and a half where there was like no tape, or maybe it was season three, season four was when there was like a long break because I think that's when I started like hey, how come like we're starting to get offers but we can't entertain these things because we're waiting for this, are we going to come back or not? Like, but then like I remember certain people were showing up on like TNA, and I was like, okay, well, how come they're like, I would message somebody from like the office or whatever, I'm like, hey, how come those guys are showing up on TNA, but I can't. I've had talks with TNA, like, how come I can't go there? Like, oh well, it's a weird thing. I'm like, no, it's not because like we're in our contracts it states no TV.
Yeah.
So like, okay, well, you gotta get written approval. I was like, okay, well, they want me. Can I go get written approval for you? I was like, oh, well, it's a different situation. I'm like, all right, I get it. It's whatever. So like I think that's when all the frustration started for a lot of people. And it's like okay, you don't eat. It's like there's like a no compete clause. Okay, that's fine. But are you going to pay us for like the time we can't compete? No. Okay, well then that's like a one-sided agreement. So I know a lot of people ended up getting lawyers, and it turned into a real like it didn't get as bad in the public scene as it could have been, but because in the court of public opinion, they're going to side with the people on the downside of it. But I mean, I think in the end, like they ended up getting season 4 running, and then that was it. Season 4, we're done. Then you guys are all free from your contracts, kind of thing. So I think that helped made a lot of people happy in that situation.
Yeah, well, a year and a half between seasons is a long time when you have offers from other people to give you money, put food on your table, and I've heard stories from people from just exactly what you just said about showing up on TNA and they were just like, F this, I'm going to TNA. And who knows what contracts were written, which ones were broken, because I don't think that you're bringing it up. Like, that's not legal, probably, to have a signed contract from one company and be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm going to go over here. Like, well, I don't think you legally can, but people did. And, but you got to compete against Rey Mysterio in Lucha Underground. And again, what was that experience like? Because not everyone gets the chance to wrestle probably the most popular luchador in the entire world currently.
Yeah, it was great, man. I mean, he's been doing it. I don't even know when he started, but pretty much his whole life. He probably came out of his mom's womb, and then his dad probably put a luchador mask on him straight away. But you don't know, and he's probably doing flips and stuff already. But yeah, no, like Rey Mysterio is definitely. I mean, people will say like Blue Demon or El Santo, but for this generation, it's definitely Rey Mysterio Jr. He's brought so much eyes, especially not just to like luchador style wrestling or whatever, but he's brought so much eyes to Lucha Underground when he was there, and being able to wrestle him and work with him and just listen to his psychology, because he's a little guy, so he's got that great little man mentality of how to do matches or whatnot, and like learning from him was amazing. Like he's such a great guy, man. And he used to bring Dominic around too, which is funny. Like he wasn't even I think he wasn't even training at the time, I believe, in like 16, 17. So it was pretty funny to see Dominic then to where he is now. It was pretty cool. And he may not like his dad now, but he's in his mind, he's still got to respect him a little bit for what he's done.
Of course. So was Dom a little shit then too than he is like he
Nah,
is now?
he was a respectful little guy. He was a respectful little guy. I liked him a lot, man. I mean, not a lot, but like we hung out a few times at the sets and whatnot. And he was a real cool dude, man. Real cool guy. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, he lost his way. Maybe someday he'll find his way back to his daddy. But we got Rhea Ripley chasing after you. What do you do? What?
I mean, shoot, you go with Rhea Ripley.
Of course, you punch your dad in the face on Christmas morning. I don't care what has to happen.
Yeah,
You
got whatever you got to do to impress the girl.
That's right, and he clearly did. And then now he's impressing another girl, Liv Morgan. This man is not having a problem. He just has a dad issue right now. So
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, though, Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, Ricochet. This guy right now, it seems like he's going to become a free agent, and I know people are asking, hey, where's he going to end up? Is it going to be AEW, New Japan, MLW, TNA? What was your experience with him as well? Because he is someone that for the past couple of years, everyone feels like he's about to like break through that glass ceiling with fighting Logan Paul, say last year, and then he just goes right back down to what he was doing, be a high flyer and lose to bigger men. Like how do you feel about Ricochet, and what was your experience like with him?
Ricochet is one of the, I would say, top 3 flyers of all time. I think he's amazing. And he's like everybody looks at him and says, "Oh, he's just a flyer guy. He's whatever." But he's one of the strongest guys I've wrestled. I mean, he deadlift suplexed me multiple times, and like I'm not exactly a high junior guy. I'm a little bit on the heavier side. So for him to be able to do that and catch me in midair a few times, and like he's criminally underrated, strong in the strong category. As a wrestler, I think he's one of the best. And for him, like he, everybody's like, "Oh, where's he going? Who's he going? Like, you should go." Especially the court of public opinion when they say, "Oh, you should go here. You should go here." Like, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, the main thing is like if Ricochet's happy, he's happy. That's all that matters. Because From a monetary standpoint, I'm sure he's fine because he was on the main roster for a few years. You know, and if he wants to go somewhere else, like let him go somewhere else. Who cares? Like at the end of the day, like I said, the fans aren't going to be the ones giving him his paycheck. The fans aren't going to be the ones that are going to make him happy. He's going to make himself happy, and the only way you can make yourself happy is like do what you want to do. So if he stays at WWE, great. I'll still support him. If he comes to New Japan, I'll still support him because I can throw him around a lot farther than a lot of the other guys. Um, but if he goes to AEW, that's good for him too. I'm supporting wherever he goes.
Nice. And one final question though, with New Japan growing every single day, how do you think they can start growing further in the American market? Obviously they have with many shows recently in the past few years with pay-per-views, but do you feel like there's like a moment or like a campaign of some sorts to make New Japan, I guess, bigger on a platform and our faces more for a media standpoint in America?
I just think, well, now there's just so much wrestling. There's like so much AEW, so much WWE. TNA is doing some good stuff now. MLW is doing some good stuff. And then there's like then you also have CMLL bleeding over into AEW, and then people are like, "Oh, what's this?" And they watch CMLL or AAA or whatever. There's so much wrestling to consume out there. So I mean, we probably have to be a little bit different. And I'm not a marketing guy, so I don't really know how to tackle that from a different standpoint. I mean, if I'd had time to think about it, I could probably think of something, but like you put me on the spot, I'm like, oh, well, there it is. But yeah, like we tried with I think the pandemic definitely derailed us a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, not just us. Don't get me wrong. Like it derailed a
Everybody.
lot. Yeah. So, but like we before the pandemic, we were slowly branching out. Like we had 2019, we had the first day of the G1 was contested in Dallas. So like those kind of things, like we're slowly bringing, like for example, like the G1, like I said, the biggest tournament in the world, the best tournament in the world, but you could only see it in Japan. Whereas 2019, we were starting to get a bigger buzz, and well, prior to that, but then 2019 it culminated where, hey, we're going to do the first G1 is going to be in America. The first day of the G1 will be in
Yeah.
America. So like stuff like that, I think we're on the right path. And then the pandemic hit, and then now like we're slowly kind of trying to build our way back over as well. And then and now they're also targeting a little bit of Asia as well. Like they did, it was like I think they did Taiwan a few months ago in April. So
Mhm.
I think it's just going to be a slow build again, a slow build back up. We just have to, and then also too, like it doesn't help that like a lot of our top guys that were here in New Japan left and went over to other companies. So we have to start building. We're building back up again, I think, and like just don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of mentality. I think is good.